Welcome back, everyone. Around 10 members have joined till now. I'm running short of time. We will be quickly starting the class. Before we go ahead with this session, just for a confirmation, is my voice reaching to you people? And is the screen visible or not?
Sir, audible and screen is visible.
Thank you, Bharadwaj. So let's try to see how many types of Oracle functions are there. There are two types of Oracle functions. One is single row functions, another is group functions. These single row functions are also called as scalar functions, and they will be working on each and every single row basis. The function will be applied onto one single row at a given moment of time. Whereas group function will take a bunch of rows and they will perform some activity onto bunch of rows. Okay. So functions are also called as aggregate functions. Let's try to see what are the row functions, single row functions that are available for us, or scalar functions which are available in Oracle. There are four types of single row functions. Those categorized further as numeric functions, character or text functions, date functions, and conversion functions. Numeric functions are those which accept numeric input and returns numeric values. They accept numeric inputs and they return numeric values. Whereas character functions are those which accept character input and returns character values. They may return numeric values also. And date functions are going to take the input as date and returns the values of date data type. Okay. So, for example, months between, if we want to calculate the interval, we have seen one of the data types, right? If we are trying to calculate the interval, there is a method called as months between, which will take two dates and try to calculate how many months are coming in between those two dates, and it will return that numerical value back to us. For example, 10 months or 20 months or 30 months. What are the number of months that are available within that particular two dates? Conversion functions will try to convert a given value from one format to another form. Okay. For example, tochar is used to convert a given data into a character string. Number will try to convert a given data into a numeric format. ToDate will try to convert the data in terms of date. NVL will take a particular column or something like that and try to replace that particular column's null values. For example, there is a column containing house numbers and some house numbers are missing. So that house numbers I need to replace with some default address. So in order to have that replacement of default address wherever there is missing of house numbers, I will use a function called as NVL, null value limiter. NVL full form is null value limiter. They just like varchar, we have got varchar2 as a second version. NVL also have NVL and NVL2. So someone asked me what is a dual, right? So I kept this particular part. You can go through what is a dual. For example, as I was telling, it is a temporary table whose columns will be generated automatically. Here is one over here. Just to calculate these values, I need not create a table altogether in the database and then insert these values and then try to retrieve it back. Okay. For simple calculations, we'll just make use of a dual table, which is a temporary dummy table. Now, coming on for numeric functions. Just a minute, huh? So let's try to discuss about the numeric functions. For example, one of the numeric function which is available is round. Function will take some data and try to round it off. For example, I want to have the rounding of the unit price. Usually the prices will be listed in terms of some rupees and in terms sometimes in paisas also. Specifically the petrol which we go for our bikes. They will mention that particular petrol in terms of rupees along with some paisas, but when we try to give the money, they will not give the remaining paisas back to us. It doesn't exist right now. Okay, so we need some functions which try to round it off. That round function is given by the oracle to us. Just like round, we have got various functions. One of the function is absolute, ABS. It will give us what is the absolute number of x. Suppose x is negative, it will give us a positive of that. If x is already positive, it will give the positive value back to us. So whatever is the x, whether negative or positive, it will give us the positive value. Seal, integer value which is greater than or equal to the number. The next integer value which is greater than or equal to that particular number. For example, 3.5. 3.5's integer value which is greater than to it or equal to it is 4, right? Integer means 4. Decimal, it should not contain any decimal digit. 3.5 seal will become 4. Floor will give something which is less than or equal to that number. Like 3.5 floor will become 3. Truncate will try to take a number x and will try to truncate it up to y decimal places. 3.5777 is there. I want to truncate it to 3.5. So it will remove and truncate it to 3.5. Round, as we have already seen. So here I have kept an example for you to understand. Whatever I have spelled out here, the same has been kept here. So please go through that particular table and try to understand how these functions are going to work and how to use them as here. Select, suppose ABS of -1 from some table, or select ABS of X from some table. So not just the number type of functions are there. There are the second category called as character or text functions. Character or text functions are like, for example, upper. If you want to convert one lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase, then you can use these functions. Here, whatever is there in the product name will be converted into uppercase. Whatever name is there for the product, it will get converted to uppercase and it will be displayed on the screen. So let's try to see how many character functions are there. These are the different character functions. Just like upper, we have got lower. We have got init cap, which will initialize every word's first character. Okay, init cap. Trim, left trim, which will try to remove the occurrences of whatever we have mentioned here from the left side of our string. Rtrim will try to remove whatever we have mentioned here from the right hand side of the string which we have mentioned here. Trim will just trim it out from both the ends. Substring will try to generate a substring for us. Okay, starting from the M position to number of characters which we have specified. Length, written how many characters are there in this string which we have mentioned. LPAD, it will try to attach some default values, whatever we have mentioned pad value, the default value will be attached to a particular given string so that it becomes to some fixed number of characters. Okay, RPAD, it also does the same thing, but instead of attaching that padding values to the left side, it will attach to the right side. So for that, I have kept an example table for you, which you can easily go through. I don't think I need to explain it again here. You can easily check for what function it is going to do and what it is returning back. Okay. So single row date functions. These are meant for performing date operations. For example, add months. Suppose there is a given year or a month, and to that date you want to add some more months. For example, here we are trying to add 3 months more. And what will be the final date? That will be returned back by it. Returns a date value after adding n months to that x date. Then months between first date to second date, how many months will be there? Round, just round off that particular dates. Okay. Truncate, trying to remove some of the months and years. Next day, what will be the next day of that particular week? What will be the last day of that particular date which we have specified for that particular year? What will be the last date? Sys date, it returns the system date and time. New time, what is the new time zone available for our country will be specified here. So all those have been mentioned as an example with its corresponding resultant value. So conversion functions next is to convert one format into another. For example, converting some data type X into a particular type. For example, here I'm having 2char 3000 and I'm telling that 3000 should be displayed with a $sign and it should be displayed in how many digits? All these nines represent one digit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3000 should be mentioned with 4 digits width and with a $symbol. Okay. And I am also telling convert system date into a format of day, month and year. Usually it will say 3rd, for example, today's date 11/2/2021. Instead of 11/2, I will say what is the day I want it, Thursday, month, February and year 2021. So if you want to convert one format into another format, you will basically use the conversion functions. So you have got toChar, toDate, NVL and decode. Okay, their examples have been kept over here, which you can easily go through. Coming next for group functions. Group functions are also built-in functions that operate on groups of rows and returns one single value for the entire group. Whereas single row functions will take one single row, perform operation on that particular single row value and return a single value pertaining to that specific row. But here, for all the group of rows, it will return one single value. Okay, that's the difference between group functions. First group function is count. Second is first, last, max, min, average, sum, distinct. These are few of them, but not all of them. All of them I cannot mention because it's a limited session. We cannot have lengthy sessions again and again. So whatever is there in the Oracle, I cannot keep it back here. Right? So what is needed for us to learn, I have kept it here. So these functions you can write in your exam, and do remember, out of the single row functions or group functions, one question will be coming up in your exams. So this is an important topic. So count returns the number of rows present in the table either based on some condition or without condition. Condition in the sense I want to count the number of rows which contains the marks as 20 in the subject. So it will return only those many number of students which have got more or equal to 20. But suppose if I am mentioning count of students, then it will count whole of the class students. First will return first value in the selected column. So whatever is the first row's value for that specific column, that will be returned back by using the first function. Last function will return the last value which is present for the last row for that specific column. Suppose I want to get to know what is the last student. So I will just specify last of student name, and it will return me what is the student name entered at the last of my students table. What is the max? What is the min? What is the maximum out of all the marks that the students have got? What is the minimum of all the marks that the student has got? What is the average of the marks that the student has got? Okay. What is the sum of the all the subject marks for a given student? How many distinct student marks are there? Some students may get repeated marks, right? Or some may get 15, another may get 15, another may get 15. So what are the distinctive marks? One may get 13, one may get 12, one may get 15. Like that. How many distinct marks are there? Or distinct names are there? So for all those, one example have been kept over here, which you need to go through and understand. Along with the result, I have kept it. And they are self-explanatory. I need not even talk about them. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask me in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we may not spend much time because I am preoccupied with some other work also. So, formats is a little lengthy topic. It's little boring, but in order to use the number format, you have to either use the to_char or to_number or to_date type of functions and work around with it. Okay, this part even I feel boring, but I'll just show you the examples so that you can get some glimpse out of what I'm speaking about. For example, there is some table here and we have entered some values inside it. Now these values these are the numbers available here, but these are numbers pertaining to product price 99, 75, 50, 25. These values are pertaining to the product price, but price should have its price symbol, currency symbol with it. So in order to attach the currency symbol, I will make use of to_char and then specify what is the column that I want to have the price symbol associated with currency symbol, and then with the format in which it has to be displayed. For example, I mentioned here it should contain a dollar symbol for the currency, and then it should have 4 digits width. Each 9 represents one space. Okay, 4 digits width with after 3 digits a comma, and there should be a decimal point, and after decimal point, two zeros. This should be the format in which the price should be printed. So 99 is written like 999.99.00. Though it was just 99, it came up now displayed as $99.00. Similarly, $75.00. Like that, if you want to have some formatting to be changed, then you will be using this type of computations. Here I kept for each format what it is and what are the examples for it. If you are highly interested, you can go through them. But practically speaking, I feel it boring. I don't want to distract your concentration from it, but obviously speaking, I feel boring with that and I'm open to speak that. Okay. Date format models, if you want to convert the dates from one format into another, then we can do it as we have seen in the previous example. Here also I have kept one more example wherein we are taking the system date and trying to convert it into DTH. This date is going to contain the numeric DD means numeric 03 and TH will represent either the third or fourth or sixth, that TH or RD will be represented here. And we need to have the months to be mentioned, not the 02 for February. Along with that, I want the year to be mentioned in 4 digits format. Otherwise, you can mention 2 Ys, which will just mention 21. Okay. So that's a simple thing, not very big. But here I kept one more slide trying to show you that if you want to calculate something in AD, then you can go with that AD. If you want to come with a BC, come with have that particular BC. If you want to just use the D, then use D. If you want to get the name of the day, then use day as a whole. If you want 2 digits date, then you use DD. Like that, you have got multiple options which you can use. So I'm quickly going for SQL commands, which is very interesting topic and very highly important topic for us to be known. As I said earlier, this SQL commands has been categorized into various categories, basically 4 categories: DTL, data definition language commands; DML, data manipulation language commands; TCL, transaction control language commands; DCL, data control language commands. So these commands are very simple. If me, they are very simple and very easy to memorize. They are not difficult. Here in short, I have written in DDL category how many commands are going to be there. In DML category, how many commands are going to be there? In TCL, how many commands are going to be there? In DCL, how many commands are there? Together in DDL, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 commands are there. Just 5. In DML, just 4 commands are there. In TCL, 3 commands, and DCL, just 2 commands. Okay. But I know as a student habit, you will feel that we are telling 5, 4, 3, so on. At the time of examination, you will get confused and you will just keep one for the other. Right? Here is a trick to remember it. Follow the sequence. DDL, DML, TCL, DCL. Do remember this sequence. DDL, DML, TCL, DCL. Again, I am repeating DDL, DML, TCL, DCL. Okay. DDL will contain 5. Less than 5 is 4. Less than 4 is 3. Less than 3 is 2. Okay. Is this sequence done for you people? So just you need to remember DDL, DML, TCL and DCL. DDL, DML, TCL and DCL. If you remember this, this sequence will automatically come. How many commands are there in DDL? You will quickly say 5 because that was the first. How many commands are there in TCL? That's the third. So only 3 commands. How many commands are there in DML? That's the second. After 5, 4 comes. So 4 commands. Now what are those commands? We will try to memorize them separately. Okay. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So let's get into the commands one after the other. So commands category has been done based on what type of command they are. If the command is used to create or alter a particular schema or to completely remove that schema called as dropping of schema, then that particular command is called as DDL command. That command is called as DDL command. For example, create is one command which will try to create a new schema for us. Alter is another command which will try to alter the already existing schema of the table or something like that. Drop will try to remove that particular schema definition completely from the database. Rename will try to rename the existing schema with a new name. Truncate will try to remove all the contents of the schema, that is all the values that are there in the table will be removed, only the schema part of the table will be remaining. Drop will remove the values as well as the schema altogether. Okay, so how many commands are there in DTL? 5 commands. What are they? Create, alter, drop, rename, truncate. Create, alter, drop, rename, truncate. Okay. In short, you can remember it by using some word which I am typing in the chat box. Since I am not good enough in writing it, you can use it. If you remember this word, you can write it for DDL. What is that word I have written? C dart. What does it mean? Create, drop, alter, rename, truncate. If you wish, you can follow this strategy. But I don't follow that strategy. It's just for mnemonic type of thing, just for remembrance sake. Okay? But I follow simple thing because I have already understood the concept. I can clearly which type of command comes in which type of category. Create, alter, drop, rename, truncate. These are all going to work on the schema of a given definition, given object. So whatever is going to change the schema or create the schema, then that particular category of command is going to come under DDL category. When it comes for DML, we have got manipulation type of commands. Manipulations in the sense data should already exist, not just schema. I'm talking about data. The values inside this schema should already exist, then only we can modify it. If the value itself is not existing, we modify it? No. So we have got first command called as select, which will try to retrieve the values from the given schema. Select is insert. It will try to insert values, new values into the given schema. Update. It is going to update the previously existing values in that particular given schema. I'm telling schema because schema may be a table, schema may be a logical definition of a view, schema may be a logical definition of the synonym, schema may be a logical definition of the sequence object. Okay. Similarly, delete will delete one element from that schema object. For example, in case of tables, the element is one row. Okay. So how many commands are there altogether in the DML? 4 commands. Select, insert, update, delete. Select, insert, update, delete. Select, insert, update, delete. Okay. You can remember it as use it. Okay. Now, third one, transaction control command. These commands are going to control the transaction from getting affected. That means if a part of the transaction fails, my whole transaction should fail. For example, you are going for withdrawing of money from your ATM. You have typed to withdraw 10,000 rupees from your bank and you pressed enter. You inserted your PIN, everything is done. You pressed enter. At that moment, the power supply went off in the ATM machine. Something happened, the power supply got cut off. What will happen for the transaction? Money was not fetched out. Will you lose that money? No. The bank will try to make the transaction, make those operations as of nature of transactions. If something goes wrong, the transaction should roll back. Whatever 10,000 you have mentioned for withdrawal, that operation should be rolled back and 10,000 should be rolled back into your account. Okay, but suppose if you have done with the transaction successfully, then it should make a change in the database telling that you have withdrawn 10,000 rupees from your account. That means you are going to commit that you have done with the transaction. Okay, but suppose you are doubtful whether the transaction will succeed or not. So half part you have finished. Now you want till half part some marking should be done, so that whatever next is there, doubtful nature, if something goes wrong, you will come back for that particular markup point, also called as save point. Okay, so we have got three types of commands here. One is commit, second is rollback, and the third one is save point. If you have done with the operations, then you will apply a commit command, which will try to make the changes permanently stored onto your hard disk. Permanently stored onto your hard disk. When you say rollback, those temporary operations which were done will be reversed, will be rolled back. Save point will try to create a temporary bookmarking point, telling that if something goes wrong beyond it, you can still roll back to that particular save point. Coming next, after the TCL, we have got DCL. In DCL, we have got only two commands, and these are meant for data control, trying to give access limitations to the data. Suppose I want to restrict someone. I don't want someone to be given access. Then I will revoke their access from them. What I will do, I will revoke the access which was there with them. But suppose if a new person is there and they are newly joined in our company, we have to make sure that they are also becoming a part of the company. Then I will grant the access to the database to them by using grant command. Okay, so these are the commands that we need to work around with. Remember, every command will have certain things to be mentioned after those words which we have listed here, and they all will get terminated with a semicolon. Just like your programming language, every statement in SQL should terminate with a semicolon. Okay. And do remember, as I said, select and select. In the morning session, I said both are same. That means for the reserved words, SQL is case insensitive. Okay. Now coming on for create command. With create command, we can create a table or a database. Database is a bunch of tables, indexes, views, all those composed together will become a database. So if you want to create a database for your own purpose, you can create a database, or else Oracle will by default create a database for you with the same name as that of the login name. But if you want inside your login a name, separate database for different purposes, then you can create the database also. To create the database, or to create the table, or to create the synonym, or to create the sequence, or to create the index or the view, you have to use a command called as create. Now I have shown you how to create a database. It's very simple. You have to write a keyword called as create, which is the command itself. Then you have to write a keyword called as database. You have to write a reserved word telling that what you are creating. Are you creating a table or a database? You are creating a database, right? So this is again a reserved word, database. Now this database name, which is green color, is your own given name. Suppose I want to create a database for students. So I can specify create database std or something like that. So it will create a database for me. Some test database, something like that. To create a table, you need to make use of create command with a table as a reserved word. With the table as reserved word. The name of the table should be mentioned. This green color part is your own given name. But when you are trying to create a table, you should always try to mention what are the various columns that the table should be built up of. And along with the column name, you should also mention what are the data types that are available in that particular table. Okay. Simple table can also be created without any column, but later on you have to modify it by using alter command and keep on adding columns one after the other. But suppose at the time of creation itself you have clear-cut strategy that a table will contain 5 columns and the names of the columns are so and so, and the data which is going to be stored inside the columns is so and so, then you can create them right at that creation point itself. So the syntax is simple: create table, both are reserved words. Table name is our own given name. For example, student std underscore table. Column name, like for example, pin number. Data type, we can take, pin number is composed of alphanumerical, right? So we can take varchar2. Second column is name for the student. Data type will be varchar2 of some 30 characters, something like that. Third one, marks. It will be numeric of 3 digits. Like that, you can keep any number of columns. But do remember, at the end, you have to specify those columns in parentheses and end that statement with a semicolon. And end the statement with the semicolon. This is important. Okay. For example, I kept one table for student purpose. Now, alter command is used for alteration of the table structure or alteration of the view structure or alteration of sequence, any schema object. What can we alter? That is the second question. We can alter the schema with regard to adding a column or renaming a column. I'm not renaming the whole table. I'm renaming only the column, existing column, or changing the data type of the column. But there is little criticality here, changing the data type. We'll learn about it. What is that criticality? Or else completely dropping a column. Okay, so with regard to table, what operations can be performed, what modifications can be performed using alter command? A column can be added to the table, or the column may be renamed, or the column's data type may be changed, or the column may be dropped completely. Dropped in the sense it will be deleted permanently. Okay, so for example, for the existing table, if you want to add a new column, simple alter table. This is the keywords. To which table you want to add, the table name you have to specify. Then add as this function. Then the column name which you want to add, and the column which you want to add, and its corresponding data type. For example, for the student table, I want to add address also. There was one student table previously, right? The student table, here ID was there, name was there, and age was there. We forgot address. So later on I want to add it. How will I add it? By using this particular statement. The table student add, within adds parenthesis, I will specify address, which is a new column, and what is the data type of that particular. If you want to add multiple columns, it's simple, just separate them with comma. Just like address is there, comma. For example, marks are to be added. Marks, numeric you can add. Okay. So the meeting is going to finish within 5 minutes, it seems. Coming on for modification, that means change of data type. Modify, we have to use a keyword called as modify. Okay. So just like add was there, here modify will come, and here you will specify already existing column name and what is the new data type that you want to modify it to. But here the problem is you cannot modify the column data type unless and until the table is blank. That column is not going to contain any value. It's because if the data is already there in the column, suppose the columns data type was number of 5, that means 5 numerical digit number, and I am trying to modify it to number of 3. That means from 5 digits to 3 digits I am going to make it. Suppose if that particular data is with regard to salaries, just imagine 5 digits, that's around like 1 lakh, is getting reduced by mistakenly to just thousands. Will it be possible, or should it be possible? No, right? So always do remember, when you are trying to convert the data type or modify the data type, you should always make sure that that particular column should be blank, should not contain any values. If it contains values, Oracle itself will give you a telling that the column is containing some values. Unless it is blank, you cannot modify it. So the same process, we are changing the address from previous data type to new data type. Here we are using varchar of 30. There it was just character, if you recollect back. Rename is simple. You will specify alter table, name of the table, and then rename keyword, then old column name to new column name. For example, renaming address to location. The table student, rename address to location. If you want to drop a particular column, again it is simple, alter table, table name, drop what column you want to drop. These all commands are just like plain English wordings. These are just like plain English sentences, but way to use the parenthesis, when to use it, how will it impact should be known to you. That's what we are learning. Now whatever new column was added, we are just trying to drop it off. So DDL command truncate, there is a difference between truncate and drop. In case of truncate, the table name, the table's number of columns, names of the columns, and their data types will not be deleted from the data dictionary. Only the values which were there in the table will get deleted. Whereas drop will delete the definition of the table, that is the logical schema, as well as the values permanently. And their usage has been kept over here. Truncate table name, that is student, drop table student. That's very simple. Even you can drop the database as a whole. Rename is simple. Rename table, old table to the new table, whatever you wanted to rename it to. Okay. So those were DDL commands. I want you to practice these commands, not on systems. For by-hearting purpose, you have to write those commands. Do remember, there are two things. One is checking whether the system can work with these commands or not. Second is memorizing of those commands, checking whether you can work with those commands or not. Okay, so I'm stopping at this particular topic. DML will continue from tomorrow. So today's part will also be kept, I hope so, in the YouTube successfully. So whatever today's classes were conducted, morning session already I have kept it. Afternoon session, I will keep it in the YouTube shortly. Okay. So is there any doubt for anyone with regard to the previous topics?